Hey mates, and welcome to more MtMtE's. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Combaticon Vortex in his helicopter mode. We're going to go over how he compares to other figures, and I've got a super secret surprise for you, which can solve the reason why Vortex is even out this year. Why didn't they release him next year? I've got the answers in this video, so please like, share, subscribe, and tune in. Keep your ears open as I go in and I discuss this figure from the blind perspective. Thank you all so much, and once again, please share. I need all the shares I possibly can to reach more blind people. Share on your social medias. I really, really appreciate it, mates. Okay, so right here we got Vortex, and I messed up his helicopter blades. Let me fix that. Here we go. Mr. Vortex, your blades are supposed to be like that. There you go. All right. So we got Vortex to drag strip, and Vortex and drag strip are almost the same length, counting Vortex's tail. But if we put tail to spoiler, we get that Vortex's nose is a little further. I'd give it 2.5 Lego studs further. Yeah. And let's take a look at him compared to Bone Crusher. Now we're going to put the tail and Bone Crusher back to back, and wow. Bone Crusher is actually a lot smaller. Now, in robot mode, he's actually bigger than the majority of these guys. But we're going to pick up the bucket and look at that. That is more than 5 Lego studs of difference between Bone Crusher's length in vehicle mode and Vortex's length in vehicle mode. Isn't that wild? Now, they are different in width. Bone Crusher's definitely winning on the width. He's 1.5 Vortex's wide. So that's where all the length for Bone Crusher went. Now we're going to set Bone Crusher off to the side. And then finally, we've got him compared to Slipstream, the air jet. Yeah. Okay, the Harrier. All right. Nose to nose, tail to tail, and they are the same length. They did manage to get these two guys to be almost exactly the same length. Width-wise, they're also the same width. Not counting wings, of course. Counting the wings, Slipstream's got it. All right, let's go ahead and take off these guys, and let's get into today's video. Yeah. I do think it's really cool that Vortex and Slipstream are the same length, but that leads to the super special thing that I'm going to introduce to you whenever the video comes to a close. So remember that Slipstream. It's going to come back later in today's video. So we've got, I'm going to remove the accessories, so we just have helicopter, no accessories. This helicopter's kind of neat. It feels like it's a Huey from the Korean War era, but it could be something different than a Huey. The nose is it's not as rounded as a Huey's nose, but I think they tried their best to get there because the windshield's very similar. And then again, this could also be one of those emergency helicopters that was brought in later, but it's a war helicopter, so I'm on the line of Huey, the helicopter before the Black Hawk. Structure-wise, great. No wiggling, nothing. Hand-wise, this is a solid piece of plastic right now. Like, everything comes together. It makes this, I can wiggle him by his tail. This is a solid guy. The connections are amazing. They gave us just the right amount of connectivity on this guy to ensure that everything connects well and it stays connected, and that's fun. The blades spin very well. The back blade spins okay. It's not the best spinner in the world, but it does spin. And now let's go from the tail and work our way to the front. So the tail of this guy is really neat because, unlike now the thing that I didn't like about Sandstorm is that his tail rotor was a separate piece you had to connect, and they didn't even make it a 5mm port, which always annoys me. When you give us an extra piece that we need to connect, please just make it a 5mm port so we can have some more fun with it. But it leads to Sandstorm having a stupid giant hole above his head where that thing's supposed to plug in. It doesn't really work well. But it does also have the little wings that unfold from either side, like Vortex here. So that's something kind of neat. And then let's kind of work from here. So we got the tail. I like the sculpt work in it. There's actually some really intricate details sculpted into this tail. You get this line work that feels amazing, and it feels like, this is a cool little aircraft tail. So that's the little wings on either side. The wing that has the dorsal fin, I should say, the one with the propeller on it, also has some really good textures on the side. It's not very much, but, you know, for a military helicopter, it's more than I was hoping for. We've got some decent blades, not really much textures on the small blades, but they are kind of cool, and I do think it's neat that there's 4 blades on that tail as well. Now we come over here to the actual tail section of the helicopter, and we've got 2 siege ports on it, and sculpt work on it, it's alright. The top of it definitely has a really nice little curve to it, and there's this bulbous bit that works for the drive shaft to go down the length of the tail and come into the dorsal tail fin in order to spin that other propeller blade. So you get the drive shaft in here, and I love the fact that what they did here is they took this drive shaft for the propeller blade and they made that where the joint is for the 2 arms connecting together. So the seam is hidden by this big old bulbous covering for the axle, and that's really cool. That was some really good thoughts right there. Thumbs up from me. Now we come over here to, they got a couple of little connection ports beside the 5mm port, and then you have a couple of screw holes that I wish they'd managed to find a way to fill in, or just made them more 5mm ports. Like, I don't mind if the screw hole's a 5mm port. I can just plug something into it, you know? So that's the tail. Not too bad. Coming up here to the actual top of the helicopter, we've got these 2 little intakes on either side for the jet engine intakes, so it can give itself a little boost. And they are kind of cool. I like that they become weapons in robot mode, and right here they're just jet intakes for the helicopter, and they're both very, you know, they're cylinders. They taper a little bit at the top, and then they expand a little bit at the back. But the most expansion, it kind of bulges out in the middle. Really neat. And they actually put a little seam on that bulge out point that you can feel, and that's always fun. The helicopter blades themselves are actually, well sculpted. We've got some really nice sculpt work going on here, and like I said before, the most negative I have about these blades is you can't remove them and just give them to Vortex to wield. I think that would be really cool if he could just wield these helicopter blades on his forearms or something. But oh well, missed opportunity in my opinion. Now, the thing that the blades are connected to, it actually comes together quite nicely, and it's got a little spot on the back that connects with this axle that goes down to the back tail fin. And that comes together quite nicely during the transformation. Please watch my Blindformers episode on this guy. Now, we come over here to the front, and we've got some sculpted in detail above the windshields, but there's not really much there. There's just another kind of line section, and they did another good job of utilizing this armored line section here as if it's like 2 pieces of extra reinforcement to help keep the helicopter stable and connected to the propellers. And they gave it a little divot in the center to be for the air intake for the actual helicopter engines. And that divot in the center is actually the line where the legs come apart. So once again, they hid a joint by making it a part of the sculpture. And good golly, that's awesome. Good job. Thumbs up. Now the very nose of it's pretty cool. We got, but there's not much texture there. It's very smooth. It's not as rounded as a Huey. It's got a couple of cuts on either side, but it is about as round as you can get. And then we have these windshields that come all the way across. They even sculpted in that line between the pilot's windshield and the co-pilot's windshield, and that line between is once again the brake line that splits this front of the helicopter into each leg. So that line works again, and they managed to hide it. Now the one on the very front is kind of hidden by these by this bulbous stuff on the very front nose of the helicopter, which feels like it's maybe some extra engine parts or something. I don't know, but once again, they managed to hide that seam, and that's beautiful. On the side of the vehicle, we've got little wheels right below the front windshields. They're just sculpted in little wheels. It'd been neat if they had they could roll, but I'll take it. And we've got what feels like a little machine gun on either side, sculpted in, right above the wheels. And that's about it for the side. We got windshields that are sculpted into the sides, and we've got this crack right here for transformation stuff. But the way they managed to sculpt this part in it makes it seem like the door for this helicopter, the side doors, are partially open. So somebody can just run in and out of the helicopter as soon as it lands. So they even managed to, where this gap is, they managed to make it turn into something that you would see on a military helicopter, because sometimes they just fly with the doors open. So it's got the doors open, and that's something special, in my opinion. And that's just they knew what they had to do there for the toy itself, and they managed to find a reason why that gap would exist. Another thumbs up from me. This is turning into an S category helicopter. Now on the underside, clean. It's smooth, it's clean. I bet this guy looks really nice from the underside. It's just, everything about this guy is coming together just so well and amazing. And I have to say, my final thoughts on this guy, S rank for vehicle mode. Definitely S rank for vehicle mode. So overall ranking for this Transformer is going to get an A+. This guy isn't quite S category, but he is so close to S that it's ridiculous. But the vehicle mode for sure is an S category vehicle mode. This is just nice. It's really nice, and I absolutely adore it. Now for the special thing I talked about earlier. One of my commenters on my videos earlier mentioned to me that he had repainted his into Alpha Bravo. I keep thinking Airbus because AB. But he turned it into Alpha Bravo, which was the Combiner Wars' 6th member of the aerial bots. They introduced them in Combiner Wars, and it worked out pretty good. And I had a thought. I was like, well, yeah, that's cool that you repainted him, but we can't use we can't use Slipstream here on Menassor's right arm because the connection ports are different. And so I'm like, okay, the connection ports are going to be different, right? Well, that's what I'm going to show you. So we've got the right arm for Superion right here, and we've got Vortex the helicopter. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of place him on this. I got to make sure I line everything up, because lining it all up is always, always important. Okay, so there's the lineup. It's going to go right there. Can we get it? Come on. There it goes. It fit. Now for the test. Does it split? Let's see. Nuts. Come on. Come on, you gotta split. Alright. It connects on there, but it doesn't want to split. I don't know how to make it split. It does connect though. I wanted to showcase that. It just doesn't want to split in half. Come on now. It should just be easy. Alright, well, it does fit on there, but for some reason, it's not wanting to cut itself in half to become two parts of an arm. It's in there. It's on there good. Like, it's without a doubt on there good, but I don't know how to make it do the thing. Xiaoli, do the thing. It doesn't want to do the thing, Xiaoli. It doesn't want to do the thing at all. Xiaoli, what's wrong with it? So, if you can figure out how to make it split, it does fit onto the right arm of Superion. Look at that. I just wiggle the helicopter about, and that arm is on there. So, if you want to repaint him into Alpha Bravo, you can. But here's my thoughts on this. I think this guy is going to get repainted into Alpha Bravo in the short time. And that is why this Combaticon has shown up during the Aerial Bots and Devastators wave. Aerial Bot and Constructicon wave. He's shown up here because he can work as Alpha Bravo and take Slipstream's place. That's just so fun. I love that. Okay, that's made me absolutely happy. So if you can figure out how to get it to split in half, because I've been working on it, I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe I need to like open her up and kind of put something in there to split it in half, or does it even come apart? I don't know enough about Vortex here to actually give you more answers than it connects to the arm. But it is really amazing that it connects to the arm at all, and it's just weird that this arm doesn't want to do the other thing that it's supposed to do. So I'll figure that out one day. But to all of you out there who are like, does it, it does. So that is absolutely excellent and definitely makes this one of the best figures of the year, in my opinion. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey as we talk about Vortex. We've talked about his robot mode, we've talked about his transformation, and we've talked about his vehicle mode and some of the special things you can do with it. This is definitely one of those great figures, and I am just ecstatic that I get to bring it to you. I am so happy about these combiners. I just can't keep it in. Oh, I can't wait for the rest of them. I am really excited and happy about these things. They're coming together quite nicely, and it is... Oh, it's a good time to be a Transformers fan. Good time to be a Transformers fan. So to Evan and Mark, 2 thumbs up to you. Give those designers in Japan my best, because they bring their best. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.